Lasagna. Who doesn't love lasagna? I know I do. It's one of my most favorite meals. Now, I normally make the noodles, but I saw this recipe online and I said, I gotta try this. This looks way too easy. This can't work out as simple as what they're showing. Well, I was wrong. Check this out. So the first thing we need is, of course, a frying pan. I'm putting a little bit of water in the pan. It helps mush around the hamburger, which is going in next, of course. So I've thawed out my hamburger. That's roughly a pound. And into the frying pan it goes. So now we just got to kind of chop it around and cook it up until we finally get it to the point where we need it to be. So you're going to want to add some spices to the hamburger mix. So now's a good time to do it. So we're going to throw in some pepper, some garlic powder, a little bit of seasoning salt. Mix that all around. So now we're going to go to mushrooms. I just happen to have these in the fridge and figured I better use them up before they become something I can't use. It's not a normal ingredient that I would put in lasagna, but I don't want these things to go to waste. So we're going to chop them up fairly small. You don't want big, huge chunks in your lasagna, but you know, you also don't want them minuscule, and you don't want a hell of a lot of work. So that's what these mushrooms worked out to. We're going to throw them into the pan, and we're going to reduce them down. So that's not all that's going to go in this mix, of course. I've also got about a cup-ish of onions, all nicely chopped. I figure you know what chopping onions looks like, so I just pulled them out of the fridge because I'd already had them chopped up before I started making this. And when it's done, that's what it should look like. Now we're going to put 1 can or jar, if you've got it, or mostly, of spaghetti sauce. It's all just whatever brand you've got on hand works just fine. And we're going to give that a stir. Now keep in mind, this is probably the most difficult part, actually making the hamburger sauce to go in the lasagna. And I would do this on mine anyway. You know, what's it take? About 5, maybe 10 minutes, including all the chopping. So here's the pan we're going to use. Just a tinfoil pan. I got at Dollarama. I put a little grease in it. I wasn't sure whether we were going to get sticky on the bottom. And I saved just a little bit of tomato sauce just to coat the bottom. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to stick or not, but you know, it's kind of like spreading out tomato sauce on a pizza. So here's the secret: ravioli. It's a 5-pound bag, 2-kilogram bag of ravioli I got at the store. And the idea here is you just kind of slowly spread it out. Now these are frozen too, by the way. They're not cooked. I really didn't know how well this was going to work. But you don't know until you try. So here we are, that's the first layer. I mean, you can figure it out too. I don't think they have to be exactly touching each other or whatever, but this is what we worked on. So comes part of our sauce. Now, that's right out of the pan too. Now, one thing, I made 2 layers. I kind of miscalculated. I put all the hamburger mixture on, but I didn't leave enough for the top. And you want to be gentle because the ravioli that you've carefully laid out on the bottom will mush all over the place if you don't watch it. Once you're done that, in goes the cheese. mozzarella is the standard cheese, but I had kind of a, not really a Tex-Mex, but a 2-cheese bag, and it had some mozzarella in it, so why not? I do like cheddar cheese in a lasagna or even on a pizza. It's really good. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. It just gives it a different taste. Here we are, look at this. Speed photography. There's our second layer. We're going to do exactly the same thing as we did with the first. And this is about the time, as I'm doing this, I realize I did need something to cover the top. As with cabbage rolls or anything else, you definitely need kind of a little bit of liquid on top so it doesn't get all hard and burnt. So anyway, here's our third layer we threw on, and I had to go crack open another jar of tomato sauce, and it's okay, I found something else to use it with down the road. That looks so good. Now the one thing with doing this is it's really difficult to spread stuff around because your ravioli is going to move, so you got to watch that. You can still make it work. So just because once we were done with the tomato sauce, I thought, a layer of cheese, why not? So we put on some cheese, and then I chopped up some parsley that I happen to have. It looked really good, and it gave it a little green tint to it, which I thought was pretty cool. And lastly, just because, we're going to throw in some Parmesan cheese, just to throw a little extra element in there. And that's it. We're going to cover that baby up. Oh wait, I didn't have any tin foil. I reached into the box of tin foil and that's all I had. We ended up finding some. We threw this in the oven. About a half an hour, 40 minutes. You're going to want to take the tin foil off 10-15 minutes in, or else all the cheese is going to stick to it. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Looks just like a lasagna. I guess we'll have to try it and just see how well it turned out. So without cutting it, which is unusual for me too, normally you've got to slice them into pieces. Well, because you have those smaller pieces of ravioli, it pretty well just spoons out. So you just need a good sized spoon to get it out. And look at that. It's all stringy and nummy. It's my kind of lasagna. Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll give it a try. If you do, leave me a comment below. Give me a thumbs up if you like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Ring the bell. That'll tell you the next time I upload a video. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.